Hi, welcome back to Kelly Martin Speaks. I realised a little while ago that the subject of loneliness is such a huge thing for a lot of people in this world. I wrote a few poems on my blog. I found writing poetry quite cathartic with feelings of loneliness, and I know that when you're on your own, or if you spend a lot of time on your own, that it's very easy to feel lonely, and quite a lot of people feel lonely when they're in crowds of people, when they have a lot of family around them, and it's quite a challenging feeling. I feel that I've probably been lonely most of my life because I have never, until more recently, made the time to spend some quality alone time with me. I've spent a lot of time on my own, but I've spent a lot of time on my own lonely in the past, even with partners, friends, school, uni, college. And it wasn't until recently, when I started to embrace my solitude, that I realised the sacred quality to being alone, and that we needn't feel lonely when we are alone. That loneliness is just a state of mind. It's very easy when alone to compare ourselves with others, and I often feel that the loneliness comes from that. It comes from looking at other people and comparing where we think they are to where we are, and we feel they've got more of, more relationships, more friendship, more love, more company, more confidence, more social anything. And as we begin to think about this more, the more lonely we become. And I discovered that loneliness is there when we are not in touch with who we are, when we are focused on who we are not. The more time I've spent alone lately, I have realised when I'm present with that feeling that there is more inside me than I ever thought, and being present with being alone actually develops a friendship with yourself. People may call it their inner being, their soul, their spirit, creator, God within, heart, life, whatever you want to call it, whatever label you want to give it. It's periods of sacred solitude is a period in life where you embrace who you are, become who you are, and it's through aloneness and embracing that we develop talents and skills, creativity. Our life begins to open and unfold. This past 8 months where I haven't been working, I have had a lot of time on my hands, a lot of time on my own, not a lot to do because of resources. So I've just spent a lot of time walking and on my own. And sometimes life kind of gives you the nudge to spend that time on your own if circumstances pretty much make it the case. It's much more gentle and loving to accept where we are and embrace that aloneness than it is to fight against being alone. It's the resistance again, resistance to being alone, that causes the loneliness. We are never alone. Yes, we live with the whole of humanity, and we are separate in physical bodies, but we can speak to people, we can meet people if we need that contact. But I say embrace the solitude. If you have it on your hands, if you're not in a relationship, if you live on your own, if you aren't working, if you're retired, your partner's died, anything, embrace it. Find out who you are, because in that aloneness is your creator, is your creation, is your beauty, is your light, and it starts to come forward, it starts to shine forth from within you when you give yourself that time. So, thank you for listening to Kelly Martin Speaks, and I'll chat again with you all soon. Bye.